Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Jerika White and I'm a NAMI Orange County representative. Thank you all for joining us. Today we will be discussing our upcoming CARE Together Knowledge Forum, which stands for Cultivating Awareness, Respect, and Empowerment Together. In these forums, we bring special guest speakers to discuss various topics that surround diversity and inclusion in mental health. Today we will discuss our upcoming forum, which will take place on October 20th from 5 to 6 p.m. and you can register at namioc.eventbrite.com. Emmanuel Jones and his father Jim Jones Jr. will be joining us in this conversation on October 20th, and we hope that you will all be able to come. Now today we have Emmanuel Jones joining us as we discuss his story and passion for mental health. All right, and I see Emmanuel is here. I'm going to go ahead and let him join in as he discusses his story and passion for mental health and what we can expect from the CARE Together Knowledge Forum.
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's pretty hot over here in California. How is it in Florida?
It is getting chilly here in California. It's the complete opposite.
Well, definitely sweating, but I'm gonna cool off.
Oh, yes. I hope so.
Well, I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for spending the time as we discuss your mental health journey as well as what we can expect from the CARE Together Knowledge Forum. So I'm excited for our discussion.
Thank you. Honestly, Jerika, I'm really happy to be here. And I've been, for a long time now, wanting to collaborate with NAMI because as a mental health advocate and a mental health motivational speaker, this is a big opportunity for a lot of people to be impacted in a positive way when it comes to mental health. So I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to talk to you. And yes.
I'm excited. Thank you so much. So why don't you go ahead and get started by telling us a little bit more about yourself?
So, hi everybody. My name is Emmanuel. I am a mental health motivational speaker, and I'm also the creator and founder of Depression Talks. Depression Talks is an online community and social media that I created to create a group named DT Nation, and we openly talk about depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. So through the past 4 years, I have shared my personal experiences with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. And through that experience, that creates a community that changes the mental health stigma and shows people that they are not alone when it comes to mental health.
That's amazing. I definitely would say that that's key in mental health is you are not alone. We
Yes.
all mental health, absolutely. I was watching your YouTube videos and there's a lot of content. I love how you keep it short too, because like you said, in the moments of, taking just one moment of happiness, like maybe listening to a favorite artist, that can turn into 10 minutes. And I love that video. That made a lot of sense to me. So
Oh, thank you.
I love it. Very informative. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just thank you for even posting them and being vulnerable and sharing your story.
Thank you. I feel honestly it's really important I know that it's very difficult to share your story. I mean, especially when you deal with depression, it's vulnerable, and a lot of people, it's a stigma behind it. So they put people down or judge you or find you as weak. But for me personally, I said to myself, me sharing my story and overcoming that fear will allow someone else to know that they can be happy in their life despite depression. So that's something that, yeah, for sure is difficult, but you're right. It's definitely needed. I feel it's needed.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So looking forward into our knowledge forum that's going to be on October 20th, what can we expect from that discussion?
So in that discussion, I'll be talking with my father and an open discussion about mental health. I'm very nervous and excited because Jerika, and I pronounced your name correctly, correct?
Yes.
Jerika?
Yes. Sure.
Okay. Jerika, yeah, talking, growing up, I didn't feel comfortable talking to my father and my parents about my mental health because, at school maybe, or even inside the house, I just didn't feel like I was in a comfortable space because of our role culture I was in. Now that's my personal experience, but in that forum this 2 weeks from now, actually, I'll be talking with my father and sharing my personal experience of depression in high school, depression in middle school, depression after high school, and he's going to share his perspective from a parent standpoint And that'd be a great conversation for other families to kind of watch and see, maybe I can take away something so I can have a better type of conversation with my child when it comes to their depression and vice versa.
Well, absolutely. I think we can all learn from that. Being from the child standpoint as well as being the parent, absolutely. Especially while COVID is happening, and having to stay home with remote learning and everything. There's a lot of stress that comes with that. So I think that's going to be
Yes.
a discussion. I can't wait to watch it and sit on that. Awesome.
I'm excited.
Oh, definitely. So to you, what is intergenerational mental health?
So intergenerational, just that specific word, I wanted to look up the definition, and it really meant that it is involved several generations inside of a family. So that's any family. So intergenerational mental health, to me as a mental health motivational speaker, that tells me if we haven't talked about mental health comfortably for all of history, then it's a problem for all families and all generations since it's never been a comfortable topic to talk about. So it's definitely an issue with when it comes to maybe my parents and then my grandparents and then my great grandparents and so on and so forth. So that to me is what intergenerational mental health means.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. So the discussion is absolutely needed, and I'm glad that your dad is willing to have that discussion, to sit at the table and just be open about it.
Oh yes, it's my parents have honestly I have the best parents in the world. I will never ever stop bragging about that, and they are the best parents. They've been there for me my whole life. So this will be a great conversation since during that time period it was we were blind leading the blind. I didn't know what depression was.
Right.
I didn't even know the name depression. He didn't. So it'll be a great eye opener for a lot of people involved in the mental health community.
Absolutely. And with intergenerational mental health, there comes that awareness, right? Like you said, you guys weren't aware, you individually and even from your parents' standpoint. So it's just
Right.
right. Or even reaching out, even that isn't, I feel like, a discussion. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, that's awesome. So
I agree.
why would you say that this conversation is important?
I would say this conversation is important because honestly, I believe a lot of things start within the family. You know, I understand that, at least for me growing up in the school system in Indiana, I'm from Indiana. I'm now living in Tampa, Florida. But growing up in Indiana, being a part of the school system, it just shows me that a lot of what kids, I'm 27, a lot of what kids are taught, like teenagers and things like that, come from the household.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts when they're like zero, zero, one, all the way literally to 6, 7. Like those are very impressionable years. And if we aren't teaching children during those periods, empathy, being able to put yourself emotionally in someone else's shoes, emotional vocabulary, emotional intelligence, then all of a sudden schools and things like that, we're going to be influenced, and it just creates a more difficult conversation for it to if it doesn't start in the household, then by the time we get into school and the workforce as adult, it's too late. So I believe that starting in the household is so important from the very beginning of a child's life, for sure.
I totally agree. Definitely just like the awareness, like I was saying, but also just having the openness of kind of questioning, why do I feel this way? Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. And I like how you said empathy, because even as a 6-year-old, just kind of understanding mindfulness of like, well, I need to step back and like take a moment to be aware of this moment now. That's a
Hmm.
that can help in their future. Absolutely.
See, you sound like you're a very present, you're a very present person. You know, it seems like you see the value of the present moment. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely been trying to incorporate that in my everyday life, especially once we were, quarantine started happening. I instead of taking a day at a time, I just take a moment at a time. Yeah, and I thought
That's
that that
good.
connected really well with what you were saying in terms of like, maybe watching a show, that will put you in a good mood, and that's like a 20-minute,
Hmm.
episode, but then you end up feeling happy for a full hour. So it's just,
Yes.
yeah, just taking those small moments, absolutely. So I really resonated with you on that video, definitely.
Awesome. Awesome.
And to connect back with what you were saying with, it starts at home. I also saw another video where you were kind of talking about how men aren't supposed to be emotional. Men aren't
Right.
supposed cry. And then you stepped in that box, right? Can you speak
Oh
a little
yeah.
more on that?
Oh yes, I will. So I feel very comfortable talking about this as a Black man, specifically Black and man, because those
Mhm.
are, in our culture, that's a very important distinction, because that's a very the extreme emotional unacceptance in culture.
Right.
So I believe that in our culture, we are taught as men that we are not allowed to be emotional. That is actually wrong. It's weak. It's just not the characteristics or personality traits of an alpha male.
Right.
But I believe that since I came from both my mother and my father, I can't deny the energy or the
The emotions.
the energy, emotion, personality, character, and amazingness my mother gives to me every single day, bringing me into this planet. So yes, I believe that men have a big issue with a perspective and emotions, and that's why it's my mission to continue to speak about that on to schools, colleges, educational systems. So it starts early. It starts early.
Absolutely. We have to reach out to our men as well, as much as our women.
Yes.
Check,
Yes.
are you okay?
Yes. I could not agree more.
So in that case, how would you say is the best way that we can support one another?
So, are you talking about everyone overall when it comes to mental health, or just this
I would
in the
say,
NAMI community?
let's start off with overall, and then we can talk about intergenerationally.
Okay. Overall, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't until NAMI that when I was younger, I didn't really see options as options. Okay, when I deal with my depression, for example, if someone said that, hey, go talk to a therapist, go talk to a psychiatrist, please do that, by the way. If you think you need help, you may need help, seek the help. But I'm saying, I wouldn't believe people. Like, I would not believe these things were real
Mm-hmm.
or helpful. So what I'm going to suggest are actual tangible things I promise are actually helpful. So I believe the website link is nami.org/support-education. If you go there, you can look up family groups. You can look up all tons of different information to help you find groups in your local area. So that's really helpful. And then YouTube is a great platform. Honestly, YouTube is seriously a great platform.
Mm-hmm.
Go to YouTube. You can educate yourself in a great way. You can look at some really helpful resources. Just type in, what is depression? What are things people do to kind of feel better in life? Just seriously, basic question, or
Right.
simply, how can I pass the time better?
Mm-hmm.
The small things. Those are great resources that were not available 10 years ago. They were not
Right.
available 10 years ago.
Yeah, the internet is, I feel like it's infinite, I guess you could say, with information, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Meet a bunch of people, learn a lot. So I definitely agree with you for sure. And also I know that you were saying with the power of community in the sense
Mm-hmm.
of that helps with breaking the stigma for sure.
Yes.
Having those
Yes.
open discussions with individuals who may kind of have stigma against mental health, right? Just having that
Right.
discussion breaks it down, and then opening their eyes up. So that's awesome.
And that it's possible too. When you have a community, you start to believe in something, because when you try to believe in something yourself, you can do it yourself. You can. But when you see a community behind something that's a common cause, that's not popular, that people feel is not popular, at least, that starts to move. That starts to create an energy that people start to follow and get behind. So
Oh, absolutely.
definitely a community is a big, great thing. I love it.
Yeah. The energy just it intensifies when there's
Yeah.
that. And you can kind of hold one another accountable, things like that. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So in sense of intergenerational mental health, how would you say we can support one another more?
And intergenerational mental health?
Yes.
This is gonna be a big question for the parents. So I'm a millennial,
Right.
and growing, well, I'm also okay, well, I'm not gonna get into that, but all I'm gonna say is that I'm a millennial, and growing up, millennials have gotten a lot of um, a negative slack for laziness or procrastination, maybe not wanting to stay to something consistently and work hard. I get those things. I get those things. But, you know, I definitely believe that it starts with parenting as well. So I believe that intergenerational starts with the parents talking to other parents
Absolutely.
openly and saying, hey, now I can't say I'm not a parent. I won't say that. I'll just say, I would find it very interesting if I saw another parent go to another parent and say, hey, do you think it'd be interesting if, how do I phrase this question? Excuse me for one moment. I got to think about how to phrase this question. It's so important.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay. How happy are your children normally? What if that would be an interesting question.
That would.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just you know, they'd be like, Now, I'm like, I do not mean that in a disrespectful way. Honestly, the way you raise your children is your choice. That is not what I mean at all. I genuinely want to know because I care empathetically about your children's happiness the way you care about mine, because hopefully these parents are friends. But but you know what I'm saying? But if these parents talk to each other, you know, as parents do, they can have that conversation. How do you know your children are happy? Whoa.
Right.
So those are just two questions already that can create a new conversation that maybe never started between parents before.
Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, the accountability between parents. Even me, I'm thinking like, how would my parents answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I really think about that. I was like, what? I love to think about questions that, so these to me, I study words a lot. I look at the definitions of them and I call these emotional vocabulary. So I believe that we don't look at the emotions behind words. So I might say something like, I hate you. Now, Jerika, you know I'm talking to you right now, and you know I don't hate you because we're having a great conversation. But didn't that word hate cause resistance?
Yeah.
That's because words have emotional meaning behind them. So when we start to learn words like, instead of I'm not happy today, but I feel accomplished. I'm not happy today, but I feel contempt with how much progress I've made today. Right. See, that makes you feel good. There's nothing wrong with not being happy, but good is still better than feeling bad.
Right. So
yeah.
Would you say kind of pointing out, showing gratitude, even though the day may not have been as productive as you want it to be? Maybe.
Yes.
I would say that too.
I say yes to that because so equation. I used to call myself a math mental health coach because I use equations to help improve. I created something called the 50.1 method, and that's the reason why I'm able to separate my own emotions from thinking rationally.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is, to your point, I said alive equals yes. So let's say you had a really terrible day and your boss did something bad, and all of a sudden your sister or brother or your spouse, or maybe even your finances, you got a random bill out of nowhere. Well, you're alive. You're alive. So you can actually attack that the next day. So alive equals yes. Yes, you know what? Yes. It sucked, but yes, I'm alive. Yes, I'm alive.
Love that. Alive equals yes. I'm going to write that in the comments here. Alive.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with the math, does alive or yes equal a certain point or like number value by chance? Or how?
So yes, so that would go into more of the 50.1 method that I created. The methods, I actually do a whole entire class on the 50.1 method because it's something that I can explain within a minute to 5 minutes, but it's something that me and you would have to participate in on a piece of paper and pencil in order for the visual to work properly.
Okay, so is that more of a one-on-one type of situation?
Yes, so that'd be one-on-one coaching because I'm also a certified life coach. Yes. So that would be a one-on-one coaching and also group coaching as well. Those would be two avenues that I teach the 50.1 method. I call that also, so the 50.1 method is emotional human understanding. It's allowing you to better understand your emotions. So that way, for me, for example, when I was younger, I know I'm still young, but when I was younger, my depression and anxiety really ran my life. I mean, really did. I thought I was making rational decisions, but my emotions were kind of, my emotions were making me think that the decisions that I was making were the right ones or the better efficient ones for my own happiness when they weren't. I was actually trying to please other people, or I didn't believe in myself, or I didn't think I had self-worth. So that means that I was reacting instead of responding. So the
Right.
50-point method allows people to see the difference between their emotions and their feelings and say, okay, this is how I feel. Okay, how can I rationally look at my feelings and address them by responding instead of reacting? That I know that's what I'm saying. That's not the math, but that's the 50.1 in a nutshell.
That makes sense to me. I try to live by this saying, listen to understand, not to respond. So I think that goes in line.
Ooh,
Yeah, I think that goes in line with your own mental health of like listen to your body, right? Or
yes.
even feeling. And while you kind of unpack that, try to understand it. Don't try to just cover it up, right? With maybe
Mm-hmm.
substance abuse, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or hurting other people, you know, just kind of out of that reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I think that falls in line. That
I
makes
like that. I like that.
sense. Well, if you don't mind, could you put in the comments where we can find you if anyone wants to, you know, be coached by you or
Oh yeah, of
that?
course. It's just depressiontalks.org. So um, here we go. Depression Talks with my big forehead right here. Depressiontalks.org.
Awesome.
So, and if you would like one-on-one coaching, you can DM me directly. I used to have a service system where you can schedule your appointments online. I may set that back up. I will be honest with you, I have stopped coaching recently because of the speaking route, but I am potentially going to be opening it back up if there is a demand for it. But I've seen a bit of a need, if you would, for speaking because, how do I put this? This is going to be a very blunt moment, okay?
Okay.
If you are someone that really wants and feels ready to take that jump, if you would, to say, you know what, I have tried things and I'm looking for just a holistic, different approach to just feeling happier 5 more minutes every single day.
Hmm.
If that is you, if literally that's you, then I am down to help. I'm definitely down to help. But the thing that stopped me so much from going into a psychiatric center, I went to 2 psychiatric centers. I've been a therapist and psychologist, and I'm very proud about doing that. And I say that very strongly.
Yes.
Um, but the thing that held me back was saying to myself, okay, I believe this time, this next thing might work because I never tried it. That thing saved me right there, yo. I'm telling you, because the mind will be like, I've tried it all before and nothing works. I'm telling you. So if you're that person that's like a little crazy, because we all are, I'm crazy, we're all a little crazy. If you are that little crazy, but you're crazy enough to say, this next thing just might work, let's go. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. You can DM me on Depression Talks One, or you can go to depressiontalks.org and just fill out that speaking form.
Perfect. Awesome. That sounds great. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share before I kind of remind everyone of where they can register for the Care Together forum where you will be with your dad?
Uh, Jerika, I appreciate honestly talking to you, and I believe that you are a great person. I mean, I don't want to say just, oh, it was a great interview and so. No, I believe that you genuinely have a good heart. So I appreciate this interview and time. And then everyone else, if you are feeling alone, you are feeling depressed, please know you are not alone. I promise you're not alone. You can go to YouTube, type in Depression Talks, Emmanuel, DT Nation, Depression Talks Nation. You are not alone.
Absolutely.
Woo!
Yes, thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and just share a little bit information, and if you could do your sign off, I love your sign off. It makes me smile every time. Then we'll end it off right
Okay.
there. All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much, Emmanuel, for being here. You guys can look forward to his discussion with his dad. That's going to be open-ended and honest, and that will be on October 20th, which is a Tuesday. As all of our programs and events are at NAMI Orange County, they're at no cost. So please feel free to register at namioc.events.eventbrite.com. and go ahead and do your sign off.
All right. I think it's time to end the live stream. The NAMI Orange County live stream. As I always say, do you stay swagalicious and keep smiling.
Yeah, keep smiling.
I'll see you, Jerika.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.